Hello, it can be considered as a clear sign if you see hexagonal box, it's Kinera or Queen of Audio, but usually more probable is Kinera. And today I'm talking about the model that many people will buy based only on design, but kind of spoiler, they did sound good too. So today we are talking about the Kinera Norn. Their mid-segment offer price is about $500 plus minus a few bucks, and it's a 5-driver hybrid with 7mm titanium diaphragm dynamic driver, two Knowles balanced armatures and two Kinera custom balanced armatures. And as usual, they are hand painted by designers, so that's what we usually expect from Kinera, they give us. Let's have a closer look. So, box is nice, hexagonal shape of the box isn't something super fancy, but at the same time it's a clear distinguishing sign that it's done by Kinera, and of course creation of such box took a bit more time, actually not time, bit more resources, bit more money, and Kinera invests in design a bit more than others. Looks nice, great polygraphy. Norn is some reference to the Nordic mythology. Once again, I didn't Google what that means, but I'm pretty sure that it is. And on the back side, all necessary information, what we have in the accessory set, what we have in terms of specs: 32 ohms of impedance, 110 decibels of sensitivity, almost perfect, less than 3% of distortion, wide frequency response, and V-shaped signature. Not pretty useful in this at this ratio, but still gives a basic idea. So let's go inside of the box. Interesting thing that user manual is glued in the box. Actually, it's not glued. I thought that it was a feature, like it's glued inside, but actually no, it just was holding well inside. So manual, some kind of booklet with information about the artist, about the tuning. So if you get this model, you can read a bit about the Kinera ideas for it. And case, cleaning tool, foam tips, and of course earpieces themselves. So let's remove this upper layer. Not sure how many layers should I remove with it. It's not always understandable. But you know, it seems to me that actually it's all full of foam. So just to add some volume, they put a lot of foam inside. Anyway, high price means premium package, and premium package means bigger size. So, and as usual, we will get final tips in the accessory set, and it's a good touch. So they put all accessories here. Let's see what we've got. Nice case, 3 type of tips. So here are final E-tips. I like them really. I think it's one of the best tips available on the market. Just traditional gray silicone tips and black silicone tips. So let's unpack and let's see. I'm consistent. Yes, so black silicone tips with wider bores. I'm not sure who will use these two tips if we have the option to get the final tips, but of course it's subjective, so probably some people will like additional type of tips in the accessory set. And of course about the design. You can see it yourself, but I must admit it's beautiful. So let's remove the protective films. I won't need them. I'm not going to resell them, so remove these protective films, put it aside, and you can see hand painted. Each one is unique with they have similar pattern, but it's not 100% identical, so it's typical for the handmade stuff. In terms of shells, they are traditional, ergonomic, fitting really well in ears. Spouts have above average length, meaning good sound isolation. Not superb, but it will be enough for public transport, for noisy street. And actually it's a bit transparent, so I can see some sound tubes inside, but not more than that, so we can't see internals clearly, but I think it's okay in this case. There is no lip for holding the tips, but spout became a bit wider, closer to the end, meaning that it will help to hold the tips well, so I think it will work. 3 bores in each spout, meaning 3 different frequency bands, and probably giving some ideas about the internal tuning. Cable, of course, is made replaceable, and here used 2-pin connectors, which is nice idea. Maybe some can prefer MMCX, but I'm a fan of 2-pin classics. A bit recessed sockets, but not too much, so it will be easy to find the cables. Let's put it in, holds okay. There are ear hooks to reduce the microphonic effect, and they work well. Cable is slightly softer than average, not super soft, but on the softer side of things. Nicely braided with low microphonics, so just a good cable. Splitter, chin slider, and after splitter it goes braided down to the 2.5mm jack. And Kinera thought about people who don't have 2.5mm, so in the accessory set you will get 2 adapters, one for the 3.5mm and second one for the Pentacon, so it's pretty convenient from their side to put it in the accessory set. So in terms of presentation, design, accessory set, it's done on the maximum level. And of course about the sound, I gave them about 40 hours of burn-in, and there were noticeable sound changes during first 10 or 12 hours. So if you'll decide to get them, give them about half of day of burn-in, that will improve sound a little bit. In terms of overall tuning, Kinera decided to go in a pretty interesting way, unusual for this middle of mid segment. Just take a look how great they are looking. So they decided to make a model with a V-shaped signature, creating a model that is fun and it's tuned for those who like accented lows and treble. It's not the audiophiliac type of tuning, and if we look from the audiophiliac perspective, that is more common in this price segment. It's not as natural, as focused on the mid frequencies like many other natural models are, but at the same time this segment lacks a bit of V-shaped models, so it's a pretty bold move that probably can give them a bit of additional fans. So let's have a player to provide examples on the table, and let's talk about it. So first thing that I like here, it's bass. I don't know where Kinera gets this dynamic driver, but I hope they will use it more, because it's a nice, fast dynamic driver that virtually close in terms of speed and resolution and control to the balanced armatures, but at the same time it delivers kick and punch of a dynamic driver. And they've managed to tune it properly. They're not overdone, they're not over-accented low frequencies, but at the same time they made noticeable accent to give you a bit of additional body, a bit of additional weight. and they made accent distributed evenly from mid bass to the deeper layers of bass, so low frequency sounding really natural here, with good texturing, with good deeper layers rumble, but at the same time they not overdoing the bass, and they not exaggerate the size of instruments in the low frequency. So I can say a lot of good words about bass here, but it's just a hit to my preferable tuning that I really like. It's not the bass head model, but it's not the bass shy, and at the same time they have a good rumble and they have a good deep bass, but at the same time they not overdoing that deeper layers of bass. They suit well for the electronic music, at least to my taste. Maybe for those who prefer this music, something more bassy will be nice, but for me it's a really good amount of low frequencies, and they show the character with real instruments most of all. Here I could select as an example Musica Nuda or Pain of Salvation acoustic albums that I use often, but I've decided to use Enigma electronic music, that principles of last, nice amount of low frequencies, really good work. Michel Cretu, or Michal Cretu as his real name, did a great job in creating of this track, gathered good samples and managed to balance everything well. You know, sometimes I really wonder how people are born to be musicians that could make something new in the world of music, and Cretu, Sandra, Enigma are a good example of such creators that manage to create something unusual. And here Kinera's Norn really performs well with this track, giving that body and weight of low frequencies, but at the same time not overdoing it. And mid frequencies, probably the most controversial part here, but they are not bad, they are not lacking something, they just reduced. It's typical for the V-shaped signature, so if you don't like V-shaped signature, don't get this model, period. And this V-shapedness is of course noticeable, especially comparing with treble, but at the same time, thanks to the resolution and focus on the micro contrast, mids are not lacking detalization, they are not shadowed by the bass and treble here, so in this aspect mids are really well balanced and with a bit focus on the micro contrast. They're not trying to highlight the macro dynamics, they're trying to deliver more resolution, and keep that in mind. That means they require a good source, they require good properly recorded materials, because they won't try to hide anything. But at the same time they're not the most nitpicking, but still on the more nitpicking side of things. And basically mids depends on what you give as input you will get. And of course bass and treble accented, they pulling a bit of attention. Some people won't like that, for others it will be nice because it highlights lows and trebles, so it's just a matter of do you like such signature or not. Stage is good, it's noticeably above average both in width and in depth, but depth and layering in depth are better than width here, so they are a bit more deeper than wider, but width is also nice. Not the widest ones, especially compared with open or semi-open models that common in similar price range, but still doing things pretty nicely. And as an example for the mid frequencies, I've got Glenn Miller Orchestra. In the digital mood, it's a good remastered version, and not really modern. It was done at times when digital master was a good thing and was a good statement in terms of marketing. And Kalamazoo is just a good example of Glenn Miller's tunes, but actually every single tune you can select here is a great example of jazz big band. All of them are basically jazz standards, they are well-known hits, and this one is not an exception. And of course, jazz big band require good control, good resolution, and this model delivers it. And treble is accented, so if you're sensitive to the treble, keep that in mind. It could be not a model for you, but at my scale of treble accents, it's just close to being uncomfortable, but still not crossing that line. But I am treble tolerant person, so just keep that in mind. Treble is good, it's clean, crisp, it's really well done, balanced armature treble. A bit on the lightweight side because of fast attacks and decays, but with above average extension, with good sense of naturalness, with normal layering and pretty nice overtone saturation, and slightly accented, as I've said. First of all, to balance low frequencies and to add a bit more crispness and clarity, and sounds pretty engaging, especially with audiophilic records with good overtones. And I've selected such example. If we continue jazz topics, it's Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, good remastered version, Freddie Freeloader. Basically, this one track is enough to test anything. It has nice bass line, it has, of course, a lot of it put a lot of requirements for the mid frequencies because of instruments and because of record quality, and treble. Treble also has a lot of overtones and percussions go to the treble area, and these earphones play it nicely. So to summarize once again, probably they can be called a bit lacking of mid presence, but at the same time I'm partially not agree here, because resolution and control on mids are nice here. It's just V-shaped signature, so it's a matter of do you like it or not. In terms of pairing, it's all just a matter of what you want to achieve. You can pair it with some high-B dubs, old ones that adding a bit of additional weight to make mids a bit thicker, or some Shenlink to make mids more efficient, or you can pair it with natural dubs by Fio, for example, like M11 or higher, so just a matter of preferences what you need to achieve. Speaking about the conversions, in this price segment there are a lot of models, but basically, Dunu DK3001 Pro, for example, they are more natural, more focused on the micro contrast. Same applies to the Fio FA1. Oh, sorry, not one, of course, Fio FA9. Fio FA7, they just more bold, more thick, with more weight on mids. Fio's FH7 also bit more weighty, especially on the mids, bit more mid forward, but with bit worse treble representation. I can't recall other models, lot of them are in this price segment, but can't recall them instantly, so I will probably summarize everything here, because if you'd like some more comparisons, just feel free to ask. And to summarize, it's a V-shaped signature in a stylish case, so if you like it, you can get them, but of course keep in mind that they are V-shaped. And also a side note, if you like treble, if you're a fan of treble, Kinera has Nana with even better treble performance thanks to the electrostats. So Norn is stylish, fun, and actually that's what I already say everything about them. So thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.